Well, just going back to last week, proud of our football team going on the road and playing well in a tough environment. The crowd noise, the rain, being away from home, dealing with the week we had prior, routine-wise. I thought the guys did a really nice job of getting great focus. I thought our communication on both sides of the football was excellent. Play a football game on the road against a good team like that, and to do the things that we really preached, winning the turnover margin +2, and really played well on first down on both sides of the football. We averaged over 6 yards per first down attempt, and they averaged 3 yards, which for both sides of the ball set them up for good third downs, and obviously the conversion rate showed that. And to play a whole game in the rain like that and be able to play catch like we did, I think says a lot about the focus of those guys. We were able to limit number 8, who's a tremendous receiver. Obviously Nick McLeod played a really good football game. We also had some good scheme where I thought we changed up coverage as well throughout the game on him, whether we were helping him underneath or over the top. We had 15 explosive plays offensively, 3 in the run game, 12 in the pass game, and defensively, I thought, they had 2 red zone opportunities, and both of them they held them to field goals or less. Offensively, got down there 6 times and got 2 touchdowns and 3 field goals and missed 1, and we need to get more touchdowns in the red zone. Could have made that a much better game for us. Probably the most glaring thing we got to fix is some of the coverage. I thought the hang time on some of the kicks was really good with our kickoffs, and we need to do a better job beating one-on-one blocks with our kickoff coverage. And we have some young players on those units that we've got to get them better quickly. We're going to continue to use them. But something that we definitely need to address and get better there. They had 1 punt return where AJ really did a nice job on one of the punts and just didn't do a good job in coverage getting down the field. So it's a big area of emphasis this week for us. I thought, individually, Ryan played a really good football game, threw a bunch of great balls. Kelvin and Emeka and Steph, Thayer, all those guys. CJ, it was good having them all in the game, and obviously we lost 2 of them throughout the game, but they're doing great. Just saw our trainer, and we'll see where we're at for practice tomorrow, but he feels optimistic about both of them. So we'll just have to see how they progress. Offensive line in the game was the most physical I've seen them this year, so that was fun to see them getting off the ball and driving people down the field. And Joe Skoltra played the whole game at left guard for Big T. Had to sore back, and so we're going to have to put him in the game, and hopefully we'll have T back this week, but I thought Joe did a nice job. It was good to see him in there. I think our defensive kids are playing with good energy. I think they're playing hard. And, they're not always perfect. I mean, we're missing some tackles here and there, but the guys are playing hard, and that's the thing you like to see, and they're playing off of each other. Louis Asus played his first game at Mike for us because Isaiah was sore with his hip, and really impressed with what Louis did in his first game, so feel good about the rotation we can have at Mike now. James Smith-Williams, I thought, had a solid game, and Jarius Moorhead. But, it's fun to have a game like that, get on the road and all the prestige, the tradition of Marshall and their crowd. It was awesome. And I think that's a really good football team. And then to be able to come home, and it was a late night, got in about 3 a.m., and then get ready for this Virginia team who's playing really good football. And they're very impressive. And Coach Mendenhall has done a nice job building this program, and you can see that they got experience, they've got good athletes, they've got tough schemes, and so new week, new opportunity, new challenge, and looking forward to it. They're a team that doesn't beat themselves a lot. They're a +2 turnover margin team like we are, and offensively they've got a very athletic quarterback. They do a lot of stuff with them in the run game. There's a lot of window dressing and tight end shifts and motions and personnel all over the field, outside in motions, cross motions, around motions. So a lot of things to try to get your eyes in bad places. Our guys got to be very disciplined defending them with all the formations. But I think Perkins is really an electric player at quarterback. Zacchaeus at receiver is a big play guy, 16 yards per touch. and their running back Ellis runs really hard. So a really good opportunity, good challenge for us defensively. On offense, odd front team, very multiple, give you a lot of different looks. They're unique in how they defend, and we got long edge players. I think both of their outside linebackers, Peace and Snowden, are excellent football players for them. They run to the ball well. They've done a nice job of keeping people out of the end zone. They're a top 20 defense and total defense and scoring defense, so it's going to be a great football game. I think you got two teams playing a conference game that are playing good ball, and they're a much improved football team. I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done up there. And another noon kick, so get our fans up early and just remind them it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm over here with a good attitude, and let's have some fun at the stadium. And we don't get to choose what time the game is, but we get to choose how loud we are and how much fun we have. So hopefully they'll do that for us. I'm expecting them to, and it should be a great day in the stadium.
You mentioned Perkins. What can you take from your game plans against Lamar Jackson to apply to this one?
I mean, he's dynamic like Lamar. I mean, you see him not only with him being able to hurdle people, as everybody's seen, but just how fast he gets to top gear, and he's aggressive as a runner. I mean, he's not one of these quarterbacks that just tries to slide. I mean, he's going to get what he can get. He's a good football player, and they got tough schemes. A lot of the plays are +1 schemes where they got one more blocker, and so it's going to be a great challenge for our guys. And we have done well in the past against Lamar, and we have not done well in the past against Lamar. So we need to put our best plan together. It really comes down to tackling. I mean, you've got to tackle, and you've got to get off blocks so that you have extra hats there in case you miss.
Normally against a conference opponent, you pretty much know what they do and what to expect. I don't think you've played Virginia since you've been here.
I have not.
Have you ever played a Bronco Mendenhall coach team, and is this almost like preparing for a non-conference game because of the unfamiliarity?
It has a feel of that, I have not coached against Bronco, I have seen BYU a lot when he was there. I have seen Virginia a lot, in crossover film now for 6 years, but have not played against them or game planned against them. Coach Drinkwitz has, from when he was at Boise, so he does have some experience against them. But yeah, it's unique, but it is a conference game, and you can feel that for sure with our guys. And I don't think they'll look at it at all that way. And, there's other teams that we've played, just like last year playing Pitt for the first time, where it's the first time we've played that crew since I've been here too. So you just do the best you can with your prep and get the guys rolling.
BJ and Bradley both get their first sacks in the NFL yesterday. How much pride does that give you to see that? And is what these guys are doing in the NFL something you can point to for these young players when they're in the weight room and training of what the end results can look like?
Yeah, well, I'm excited for them. I didn't even know that. So I've been watching all this triple option film that we're facing this week. But I'm really happy for them. Not surprised at all. They're going to be very successful. The way they approach the game, the way they work, the way they prepare. And I think it is, as you mentioned, it's a great roadmap for young players, because that's the biggest thing they did. They were owners of the process of being great, and they worked hard at it. It was important to them, and that's why they're successful. And that's something we talk a lot about here. So anytime, those guys that have been through this and did it the right way, and now they're continuing to have that success, I think it just adds to it.
My apologies if you mentioned CJ and Thayer in the preamble, but you have an update on them for us.
They feel good today, but we're not practicing today. But our trainer said that they are looking good, so a lot of it depends on how they progress. In the protocol, you have to go through all the steps. So, but today they looked really good.
You get your best rushing output as a team this week, but it's not been, I'm sure, what you want. Can you evaluate kind of where things are with your running game?
I think it was a lot better. Yeah, it was a lot better. I thought we were getting off and knocking the line of scrimmage, 3 and 4 yards down the field. I thought our tight ends helped us. Kerry was in there straining. DA was in there straining. Reggie and Trent run hard. We don't have Naheem, you know, we don't have that guy that's going to turn a 5-yard run into a 50-yard run, which helps your stats a lot. I mean, it's going to be more of a slugfest in the run game, which hurts your numbers, but that doesn't mean it's not good. You know, I mean, I thought we were very effective running the football in that game. And we want to continue to take those 2-yard runs and make them into 4, 5, 6, and more. And we had 3 explosive runs in the game. I thought it was just the demeanor of the run game was completely different, and we'll continue to improve.
With Ryan coming back, there was a lot of attention on the passing game in preseason. Obviously, that has not been a disappointment. You're leading the ACC in passing right now. How satisfied are you with the passing game, and how much of that success has to do with what State's been able to do on first down?
Yeah, and I think, you know, we average 10 yards per completion on first down too. So I mean, a lot of these passes aren't third down passes. You know, I'm really pleased with it, and I think it all ties together. You know, I think when the O-line can be physical in the run game, and then it helps them in pass protection. When you have to defend the run game, it helps our routes. In the pass game, our double moves, you know, things that we can do on bootlegs, which help Ryan, you know, to have some movement passes like that, so he's not always, you know, on a drop back set for the defense. But it all ties together, and it's getting closer, you know, and getting everyone healthier as we go will continue to help that. But now you get, you know, Ottenreath and Carey's second game, so hopefully they'll continue to improve. And I like the direction it's heading, and Ryan's just playing really, really good football right now, you know, and his receivers are playing hard for him. So there's a good thing going right there, and we expected it to be like that.
When you were recruiting Chris Dunn when he got here in January, did you just try to, I mean, so much anticipation and expectations for him.
Yeah.
Did you just try to tell him, look, I just need you to make the ones you can make. I need you to make I need you to make the layups. I need you to be functional so that we can improve a margin that you've had against the rest of the country, really. Yeah.
I try not to talk too much to the kicker, okay? I'm very positive and encouraging to those guys. I think in general, kickers and punters are very hard on themselves. And the biggest thing that I remind them of is routine. You know, and for Chris, and I tell AJ the same thing, they're very talented, both of them. So if they can just focus on the steps they need to take and not everything else, then everything will be fine. You know, and if Chris keeps his eyes down through contact, he makes almost every kick. You know, and so, you know, the conversation always is, well, Coach, how far do you need me to be able to make it from? I'm like, wherever I put the ball down. You know, but ideally, you know, if we can get a 45 and in, 70% or better, you're loving that. And so right now we're, you know, other than the one that bounced off the upright, which was unfortunate, I think he's kicking the ball pretty good.
You guys hold Georgia State off the scoreboard after the first drive. Other than the one long pass play, you don't really give up a whole lot against Marshall. How happy are you with your defense going into ACC play, and what still needs to improve there?
Well, I'm excited that the kids are just playing the way they are together, you know, and I think the energy that they have is fun to see. I think our back end is playing at a higher level than it did last year. I think our D-line is not as flashy, but is doing a really nice job in gap integrity, and they're playing hard. You know, I do think Pratt, being as athletic as he is, has helped us. Isaiah and Lewis have helped us at times with their athleticism. We have to tackle better in space. I think that's something that's shown up a couple times outside. We missed 3 tackles at corner in the game, and we missed 1 at nickel the game before that. So those are things, it's always going to be that way, and that's the hardest play, you know, are these space plays against spread offenses, against really good athletes. But anytime you tackle well in space on defense and don't give up explosive plays, you usually play a really good game, you know. And so those are things we'll continue to work on. But going into league play, it's just now it's like each week it's different, you know. So this week it's I mean, I don't even know what you categorize their offense as, you know. I mean, they have so many option plays and zone plays and different schemes, and then next week, you know, you got BC and they're pounding it at you, and then the next week it's this. And so it's the ability to transform what you do week in and week out and be good against something completely different, you know, and that's the fun part of it. That's the challenge you have as a defensive coach in college football right now.
Back to the kicking game, what has been the biggest challenge for you the previous 3 years? You pretty much had to play left-handed against everybody else.
Yeah, you know, more than anything, it's just trying to stay positive with it. I mean, because it can be depressing, you know, when you drive up and down the field and don't score and miss field goals, you know, or settle for going for it and don't get it. And so, you know, that's been hard. And so the mentality of going for it all the time, I think, has been hard for Coach Drinkwitz, too. We know now that when we get to a certain yard line, we can play normal football versus, I mean, we'll always be aggressive on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3 at certain points. But, you know, it's a different ball game when you know you're going to get 3 points. And so for me, it's just, there was nothing I could do other than what I tried to do. I tried to bring in more competition for the position. It just didn't sort out the way we wanted it to until now. So keep it going.
So week number 2 of not seeing Ricky Person on the depth chart. How is he doing? Is there any update on his status?
We shut him down for 2 weeks. You know, we just couldn't get his hamstring back to where we wanted it, and he's a tough kid. You know, he's trying to get out there, and it just every time he'd get going, it was another setback. You know, so we completely shut him down. They're actually testing him today to see if he's ready. So there's a possibility that he'll practice this week. I don't know if he'll play yet. We'll have to see how he responds to running. But I know in his mind, this was the game that he wanted to be back for with kind of how we set it up. And we'll just have to see. He hasn't done a whole lot in 2 weeks. So where he's at, you know, conditioning-wise. And sometimes when you go out there and run and all of a sudden it's sore again and you got to back off. So until we know if he's healed or not, it's a question mark.
With so many mouths to feed and so many weapons on this offense, is there a challenge at all of making sure everybody is getting the ball as much as they want and stays happy, or is everybody kind of understand what needs to happen?
The happiness is in winning. That's the message, you know. So whatever we got to do to win. And it's one thing if you go out there and lose and your good playmakers don't touch the ball, then that's a problem, you know. But when you're winning games and scoring points like we are, if it's there, if it's Jacoby, if it's Calvin, if it's Steph, nobody cares. Let's win. And not to say that good players don't want to touch it. They do, but they understand if they just do their job that those plays will come.